Welcome back to another episode of Todos Toman podcast. Muchachos, everything feels like it's back to normal. I'm back at home, nice and cozy. I am not cold. I am indoors. And today we have a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, let me just welcome you, John Aviña. So it's Aviña, but do people say Aviña or do people go with Aviña?
I live in a white neighborhood, so everyone calls me Avina, but it's Aviña.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, John, before we kind of get into all the stuff that I want you to be able to talk about, Aviña with an ñ. How do you type an ñ on your keyboard?
Oh,
So it's Alt. I think it's 421 on a PC, and then for Mac, I have it like kind of hotkeyed, so I can just jump into it. Yeah.
nice.
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why is because we were trying to type it a few episodes, and nobody could get it on their PC.
I had a convention I went to, and they print out your name and put it on the table, but because of the ñ, when they printed it out, it was like computer coded. So it was like T equals 1 something. I was like,
Oh.
that's T.
So they couldn't figure it out either. That's what you're pretty much trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Because we all tried it, and out of us four, Romero was the only one who was able to do it. And I
Not only that, but he was even calling us dumb. He was like, "Oh,
Flat
it's so
out, dude.
easy." We're like, "We're trying, dude. Like, you want me to show you? Like, I could pull the camera up."
dude, and apparently there's another
Alt
formula.
164.
There
Yeah,
you go,
for
there's
me it's
another formula
Alt
for that.
164.
I try that, dude. I'm over here trying it again.
That's the one that didn't work, dude.
And sometimes you have to have the N already there, and then you can do it, and then it'll put it over, like it'll create another letter, but it'll copy whatever letters in front of it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you see.
All right. Well, I mean, even here, you're going with Aviña. You didn't add the ñ. What's up with that, bro?
I don't even think I created an account for this. I just got a link.
he typed
Yeah.
that his name.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. So let's kick things off, muchachos. Con our usual segment, ¿Qué están tomando? This week, Johnny Boy has tasting trials, so we'll leave Johnny Boy to the end. So we'll kick things off with you, Miguel. What are you drinking today?
Well, dude, so it's a very Chicago-ish kind of podcast. Even though my boy Johnny Boy's in Cali right now. Pero pues I got the bourbon, which is the Chicagoland bourbon. It's from Evanston.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, mucha luz, mucha
There
luz.
you go. Yeah,
There it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I got that one, and I had todavía una de las de Casa Humilde, la piñata one.
Mhm.
I got that, and I got a glass of water
Oh shit, damn.
because I don't know what kind of night it's gonna be. So I don't want to end up like Romero, como dice
He doesn't
Johnny
want
Boy.
any hiccups,
So,
dude. He wants no hiccups, dude. Tank, what you
¿Qué
got?
pasar, muchachos?
Pues, yo otra vez tengo mi vasito perrón, dude.
Vasito vacío.
Pero, mira, aquí está.
A ver,
Buffalo
ahora sí.
Trace,
Oh.
dude.
Mira, Buffalo.
No, es Buffalo, dude. This is full
Oh, that
price, dude. This
that
is
was-
not
This is
16
full
bucks.
price.
That was $25, no?
Y aquí era para que Johnny Boy diga que si le pongo, dude.
So John, he always shows off the cup, right? He's always showing off the cup, and it's like, oh, he's always just saying, oh, I'm drinking this, I'm drinking that. But I was like, he has to pour it, to make sure that he's actually drinking something. But that's why we just give him shit. But all right, Romero, what you got going on?
I got Smirnoff
Ooh.
Tamarindo.
Damn, dangerous.
You gotta live on the edge, And
That's
then with some watermelon Arizona.
Damn.
Nice. You had said you didn't try that, right? You hadn't tried that?
I think I have.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
Pero, aquí
I thought it was
está.
one of
during
the
that craze, dude. Remember that craze where everybody was doing
ya le iba a tomar,
Smirnoff with
espera.
everything?
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
that's true, dude. No lie. But John, obviously our guest. Go ahead. What you got going on over there, dude? With that fancy
I
mug?
got the Goose Island. It's the Hazy Bear like IPA.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that.
I like that one.
Okay.
Dude, crazy enough, I've been noticing Goose Island a little bit more here in Cali, which is a plus, right? It's obviously a Chicago brewery, but yeah, I've been seeing it a little bit more often. But the one that I see is what was pretty much like the orange wheat. What is it called? Is that 312?
Yeah,
Is that
312.
Yeah, 312.
Oh, well, 312. But yeah, that's the one I've been seeing a lot more often. I haven't seen really much of anything else, but I've been seeing them more often in different places. But
Empiezan, dude. That's a sneaky
yeah.
link. Dude. That's how
Yeah.
they sneak in, dude.
well, that's what happened with Dos Segundo. I know Romero would want to buy them from here to take them over there, and eventually they started popping up over there, and now they have that shit out there. So that's pretty cool. Pero va. So I got tasting trials. John, just be careful with that music.
It's pretty loud. It's
Turn
pretty loud.
down your volume.
If you haven't seen
Apparently, it's
Godzilla
pretty
vs
loud.
King
I don't
Kong,
think
dude,
so.
if you haven't seen Godzilla vs King Kong, this will make you want to watch it.
What the fuck?
Here we go.
All right, so pretty much what we do, John, with the segment, we try to taste different recipes from obviously social media, which is it could be TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. This, well, not this. I'll say this year. Today, I didn't have time to do all that jazz, but I did get a new beer from El Segundo, which is here in Cali, and it's called the Steve Austin Broken Skull 316 IPA. So I was recommending an IPA or a Broken Skull IPA to my niece out there in Chicago, and she sent me a picture of this one. I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't know that existed." And before the podcast, before you joined, Romero was telling me that this is something they brought out on March 16th. So I tried it. I already took a couple sips, dude. It's pretty fire. You guys already know I'm trying to keep it under that 1 minute, but yeah, it's pretty fire, dude. It's pretty fire. Definitely give it like a 9 out of 10. And I have this one that I haven't tried, but we'll leave that for later.
Go,
Look at
can,
this.
can you tell us what's the name of that?
Yeah, can you tell us the name of that, John? How would you
Johnny
pronounce
boy?
I dated a German girl for like 3 years. I should know this.
that?
Oh shit!
Gemmenschnaff. I don't know. It sounds racist.
No,
I read through Johnny Boy
German stuff.
because the way Johnny Boy was pronouncing it, Tank is the one that brought it up where it sounded like he was saying, "My name is Jeff."
German stuff. And this one is it's a fusion between obviously El Segundo, which you guys see right there, and then Green, which is another brewery out here in California as well. So I'll try those out. Shout out to El Segundo. Sponsor us,
Por favor, ¿no?
please.
But
Please
in the
and thank
meantime,
you.
muchachos, pues salud.
So,
Cheers,
cheers.
John. Damn, John. Oh, I thought it was gone. I thought it was a clear. No, I thought it was a clear cup, and he had finished it, but it's not clear. It's not a clear cup.
Wait, so the mug is made out of a horn, right?
Yeah. Where's the camera? There you go. Yeah, it's like a drinking horn thing. I got a
Yeah.
couple of them. Yeah, I collect like weird looking cups. Like,
Nothing
I
wrong
like
with that.
like if it looks weird, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. And then I'm trying to drink from it. It's like running down my face. Always.
It's not working out for you.
Yeah.
All right, John. Well, then, obviously, thank you for joining us. We're pretty much already told you. I know we're limited to time. Just pretty much a quick background. I did get a chance to listen a little bit to the time you were with the 2 times that you were over there with Miguel at Geek Studios. But obviously, it's a different fan base as well here. So just for the listeners here with us, what is it that you do? Give us a little rundown, and we'll go from there. Maybe we'll have some questions for you after that.
Yeah. So I'm a funeral director. So I work full time at a lab where people donate their bodies to science, and then I prepare them for like the universities.
Mm-hmm.
And I work for like a regular funeral home, so like do wakes, burials, all that stuff. And I'm a comic book writer because I don't have enough work, so I do that. Yeah, so I do a lot of shows, a lot of self-publishing. We just sold 2 books to another company, so that's been exciting. But yeah, I even shoot weddings and stuff on weekends. I'm a photographer.
Oh shit, dude!
Yeah, weddings,
Multitasker.
quinceañeras, all of it.
Dude, so just
Nothing like a good funeral and a quinceañera the next day, you know?
You got to have balance, right? It's like
Yep.
you have beer and water. You need a quinceañera with your funerals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you, besides the fact that I'm really interested in your work, right? What made you get into your full-time job as a funeral director?
COVID. So I was doing weddings full time, and then they just stopped.
I'm sure you were
I
busy.
had no work. So then my mom's a funeral director, and she was like, hey, like, I don't know what this COVID thing is, but we're getting busy. So like, come help out. So I went over there just a couple of days out of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when it was like nothing was reopening, I went in full time because I was like, I need work. I got a kid coming.
Okay.
And then I loved it. Like, and then you just, once you start doing it, you really get into it. And it's like cool getting to help people. like getting to make them feel better about all this stuff because it's weird. So
Yeah.
like getting to explain it to them, like help them through all like the stages of grief and stuff.
Right.
It's cool. Like you learn to love it or you quit right away. So
Okay. And is it? I know you obviously you grew up with that, right? With you said your mom was doing it. She's been doing it for a while, I'm assuming.
So she was a mariachi singer the whole time I was growing up, and then she and my uncle, who was her manager, got into like a thing. So she ended up becoming a banker, and then around 2017, she was dating this guy who was a funeral director, and she was just like, me and him are just friends, like it's not gonna work. She's like, but I want to do that full time. So he even works with her still, or works with me over there.
Oh, wow.
And it like, so she's just jumped into it. Like she's a real entrepreneur type person.
Yeah.
So she just like took off, and now she has like 10 to 20 funerals a month. So
Wow.
it's nuts. Yeah. And all in like Pilsen, like that area over there. That's where we're at. So
So I hate to ask, but I kind of want to ask is has that crossover ever happened where as a funeral director, but also like selling the mariachi services for the funeral? Like, has that
Oh.
happened?
no, so I stopped my mom from singing because she'll like when the mariachi starts at the thing, I like turn around. I'm like, hey, don't like they don't want to hear you sing. They're here for them.
Right.
But I can like see her like going in the back. So I'm like, hey, keep it down. But there's been a few times where like I'm at a wedding, and then like everyone keeps like looking at me. I was like, they're gonna ask me something stupid. And they come over and they're like, hey, like grandma's getting real old and we know what you do. Like, what's the cost of a funeral? I'm like, this is a wedding, man. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh man.
call me on
Damn,
Monday.
dude.
Shit. Yeah.
Call me on Monday.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy, dude.
there's like some crossover between like work stuff, but
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Is it something where was it scary at first? I mean, I'm assuming I don't know if you ever seen a dead body before you working there, but I'm sure your mom would tell you stuff. But is it scary at first that doing all this stuff? Obviously, it's part of life. We all know that. We're all heading that way somewhere or another. But did you get scared? Did you have any nightmares or anything like that along the lines?
You try to be like tough, right? Because like
Right.
you go in, you're like, oh, whatever, like it's not gonna bother me until you open it on your own one day. Like
Mhm.
I get there at like 3:00 in the morning. So like
Oh shit.
the first one there to turn on the lights. So
Mhm.
now I have like my headphones on and I'm just like, oh, like I'm not scared. I'm like running through, turning on all the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
si
like
yo quería ir al baño en la noche, dude.
I was about to say I don't even do that at home and shit.
yeah. You get used to it because you're just like, all right, like it's Tuesday. Don't fuck with me today. Like save it for Friday. Friday's a good day to get scared because I got the weekend to shake it off. Like leave it alone. Because one time somebody broke in and
Oh.
I just like I did the lap to see like if anything was stolen. I didn't even think to call the cops. I just wanted to know what was going on. And then I called the cops and like they got through the door, and when they saw like the dead bodies on the table, like I saw them all kind of go like, so I was like, no,
Yeah.
like this is what we do here. Like they're dead. It's fine. Like relax. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, how do you know he's not like sleeping on a table like the guy that broke in? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, I didn't put that
Yeah.
together.
Never
I
thought of
didn't
that.
even think about that. So then we had to like pull the sheets off of bodies and stuff. Yeah.
Mm. Damn.
Wow, dude, it's crazy because I think I've met somebody that used to work at a funeral, but I've never asked them. Obviously, the question I'm asking you, and obviously that's something where we really, I guess, we really don't know much about it until I guess it happens to us, where we start, knowing about it and educating ourselves. But it is something that I know. Again, we're all heading that way. So, thanks for that info. Do you guys have any other questions about that? I want to move on over to his.
Before we go on, because I do want to get to the comic side.
Yeah, me too.
I just have to ask: is there like, can you share a story or something that happened that was a bit like kind of freaked you out a little bit?
Today, yeah. So
Today,
we got a body in, and usually whenever you hear people running around, it's something gross. So I was just sitting there because I had to get work done, and they like my cousin kind of popped his head in. He's like, "Let's go." So I was like, "Oh fuck." So we opened the body bag, and from the guy's left thigh down, it looked like what, when like you open the carnita bag and it's like the tripas and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Oh,
It was
shit.
like that, but where his thigh was
Wow.
and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I picked up the body, and when I did that, like there was nothing on the record about him missing limbs or anything. So
Mhm.
now we're like digging in the bag for like toe tags, anything to identify him, and it's
Oh,
all right.
damn.
Right.
And it like this is the guy. So then like we were trying to find the cause of death, and it turns out he had an infection on his toe, but because he had such bad diabetes that the moment the infection hit the blood, they took his foot thinking they could save it, then they took by the knee, and then they took higher, but they were explaining it to his wife and she didn't really speak English, so they kept telling her like, hey, like we're cutting higher and higher up, but it's not stopping, and she didn't know. So I'm like trying to explain to her why I have to put him in like this plastic suit for the wake.
Oh
And
shit.
she was, yeah, because she was like, no, like he wouldn't want to wear that. I was like, I know he wouldn't want to. I don't have a choice. I was like,
Right.
because it'll leak. Like you can't sew that up. And
Mm.
yeah, so every once in a while, it throws me a curveball where I'm just like, oh, because
Yeah.
everybody's like a puzzle. So when you get them in, you got to figure out how to make it look like the person,
Right.
and you have to put pieces back together and do all that shit. And today when I saw it, I was like, this is gonna take a while.
That's crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Honestly, I don't even think I could have the stomach for it.
It was right after lunch, so I
Oh.
was good. It was
You had the
good.
stomach.
Yeah. Well, like there's a Comales like right around the corner from my work. So
Yeah.
I'm there like all the time. So like I ate and then I saw that I was like, oh, thank God. Because like God and Suhugo wouldn't go down after that.
Let me ask you this. A couple of years ago, I used to work for a security company, and I was going to put cameras at a funeral home. And one of the cameras where they want me to install it, a specific corner, they wanted me to go in, and then he did ask us, "Are you okay with seeing dead bodies?" At the moment, I was like, "Yeah, sure." You know, I remember walking in, and I remember kind of like in the corner of my eye, I would see them. Right, I think I just saw kind of like from the knee down, and then kind of like head up. Like, but it has a certain smell.
Yeah.
Is it like a chemical that you put on the body to preserve the body, or I mean, I don't know. I'm asking because I know
Yeah.
probably a stupid question, but
No, it's so we use like a disinfectant to wash the bodies.
Mhm.
So it's a combination of that, the formaldehyde, so the stuff we pump into the body. We're basically replacing your blood with like a chemical.
Okay.
And that chemical is what keeps you looking like you for as long as possible.
Okay.
So when we do that, you get that smell right away, and then it's like poop, urine, all that stuff. Just it doesn't wash out. So when it's in the air, it's just kind of in the air
Right.
till it
Okay.
vacates. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy how the body works. Guys, any other questions on this interesting topic?
I'm just
No, you guys don't have the stomach for it.
I got a funny story. So we had a guy, we were shipping a body to Florida for
Okay.
school.
Mhm.
And this guy came in and he looked like Triple H, like big motherfucker guy. And then there's me, and I'm like 5'9" maybe. So like I'm talking to him, I'm telling him like, all right, I got the box right here. We got to load it to the truck. And he was like, oh, you're gonna help me load it? Because I'm like a small dude. I was like, well, I was like, you can't really pick it up by yourself. And he was like, let me just see it. He got to the box and he saw where it said like head on top, because we have to mark where the head is.
Mhm.
Okay.
And he looked at it and he literally ran across the parking lot and was calling his boss. And he was like, no way, man. Like, it's not getting on my truck. Like, I'm not taking this thing to Florida. So I had to stand out there and wait while they hired another transport
else.
team to come get it. But it's always like that too. It's like some like fucking guy gets out of the car, gives me attitude. Like, I know what I'm doing. I was like, sure.
Okay.
And then they see the body and they're like, I'm out. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
but transporting a body.
We've done it. We've driven them to Florida ourselves a couple of times. We've taken them to like Jersey. I've gotten pulled over with a body in the back.
Oh,
And then like the
shit.
cop goes and he looks in because like it's night. He's got the flashlight in my face. He's like, what are you doing driving right now? And I was like, working. And he's like, oh, what are you doing? And then I like point to the body in the back and he looks and then he looks at me and he's like, just just go. I don't want to write this up. He was like, just get out of here.
Obviously, I'm sure you have documentation saying, from
Yeah.
here to there, blah blah blah. Like you have ways to prove it. Okay, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only once they asked me for it. Like
shit.
you could tell she was nervous, the cop. So she was like playing by the rules. So she was like, "Can I see your transport papers?" I'm like, "Here you go." I was like, "Here's my license, funeral director's license, whatever you need." And then I had like mom was driving with me, so she was there. She had her license, all that stuff, and she was like, "Do you have the ID of the body?" I was like, "I have a toe tag," and she's like, "Nope, we're
Thank you.
good." She's like, "That's fine, I believe you." And I was like, "You sure I can get it?" She's like, "No." I was like, "All right, you don't want me to?" We're on I-55. I can just pop back there real quick.
Dude, and the toe tag that you mentioned, it's obviously there in a body bag.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the zipper starts from the head down.
It's supposed to be at the feet. So I can
Okay.
just zip it and check the toe tag. So
Right.
anytime you watch a movie now and they go like this to show you the face, they're lying to you. It starts at the feet, even at the medical examiner. They'll start at the feet or they'll put it at the shoulder because most tattoos are on the arms or something. So if they got to identify a body and you got like I got like a Star Wars tattoo, so they'll put it where that will be the first thing they see, so your family doesn't have to see your face, just
Gotcha.
so it's not that shock because people pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, every like funeral I go to, there's always like a tia that goes up to the casket and just like collapses, and then 10 minutes later she's fine and she doesn't go back. So I'm used to it.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Very interesting, dude. Definitely very interesting. I have so many questions about that. But I think we could make it another episode. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us some other time. We'll specifically talk about that. I want to talk about your work. I know, again, I heard a little bit of the Geek Studios episodes when you were there. You just said right now that there's 2 books that were bought out. Is that you mentioned it? Okay. First of all, how did you get into that? What kind of comic books do you do? A little background on that, please.
Yeah, so I do a lot of like Mexican themed, like Latin themed stories. So the one that sold is called Lucha Forever, and it's about a lucha libre wrestler who wants to make it as an actor. So he moves from Mexico to the U.S. to try to pursue an acting career, but it all goes to shit. So he sells all his memorabilia.
I was like, I got you, dude. I got you.
There you go. Yeah. So he sells all his memorabilia but his mask, and on the day he has no choice but to sell his mask, there's an alien invasion, and now he has to be the hero the world needs. While still being that like machismo guy that can't get his shit together.
Yeah.
So that story, and then I have a team up one with that one called La Llorona about a wrestling chick and stuff. Those 2 sold to a company together.
Nice.
So I just they were working on book 2 through them, which is nice. And we should have that done in like a month or so. But and then we have like Lockjaw Pistoletto. It's about a mariachi singer that fights monsters with a silver string guitar.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the one that so that's how I met him, right?
Yeah.
I have all of them right already.
Yeah. Where do you get inspired? Like, obviously earlier you talked about your mom being a mariachi. I don't know if that's something that has to do with that. But as far as like the luchador that wants to be an actor, goes from Mexico to the U.S. and then like Llorona, chick wrestler. I know you're trying to do kind of like a culture thing, like a Mexican thing, as you said. But is there a specific story or something as far as like a personal thing that inspired you to do that?
So for me, the Mexican stuff comes second because like it's the story first. If it serves the purpose of the story, I'll let it happen. But I'm not gonna force something into the story just to make it more like Latino or something,
right?
Because then I'm lying to everybody if I do that.
Right.
So for like the Lucha Forever, the story, if you boil it down, is about a dad trying to make it in the arts, like he's trying to make it as an actor, and the job he had before that, like it was still a fun job, but to go forward and jump into a new career, that's something that like a lot of people fail at because it's hard.
Right.
So for me, I wrote it because I have a son, and I went from being like a wedding photographer, like making money, doing art, like doing work. And then I gave it up to do funerals. So when I started doing comics, because the first one I did was that Lockjaw one, it was like, how do I risk everything to do this? Because like you're giving up time, money, like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I was like, if I mess this up, then I'm messing up not just my future, but my son's.
Mhm.
And that's where like all that fear went into Lucha Forever. And then I have another book called Americana, and it's about a boy named Chewy and his dad, and they're getting to know each other after like the death of the mom.
Okay.
And that one kind of came from like I was working so much because I was like every week I work like 50 plus hours on like the low end
Yeah.
because it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like if I didn't slow down, if I didn't like force myself to like spend time with my kid, one day I'm gonna realize like that he's grown
Right.
and I gotta learn who he is, and I
Okay.
fucked that up. So a lot of that
Mm.
fear that comes with making things, that's what finds its way in, and then usually the way I'll tell it is through like me through the lens of what I know, and that's just
Mhm.
Mexican stuff. So like I have another one called like Cinema Muerte, and it's about like my love of making movies. Yeah, and that one's literally just me, my friend Chris, and my wife are the main characters because it was a movie I wrote a long
Oh,
time
nice.
ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I was sitting on the script, so I was like, I got to make it comic now. But
Yeah.
the monsters in it, instead of doing like regular demons, like Catholic demons, I
Mhm.
did Aztec demons. I did like the
Okay.
Mesoamerican gods come back
Yeah.
and doing something fun like that.
Nice, dude. How long does it take for you to obviously I know you get the inspiration and then you probably
Yeah.
start writing down. How far is the process from you writing everything down and then finally like a publishing the actual comic?
Probably about 3 months because I can write a book in like a sitting. I can get the story out.
Mm-hmm.
So that won't take me long, but it's like finding the right artist, getting them to draw it, giving them
Oh,
notes,
okay.
like all that stuff,
Right. Okay.
and then paying for it. So the paying for it's the hard part because
Mhm.
like I'll tell them like, hey, do like 10 pages, take like a week off so I can like regroup, and then we keep going because I have to
Mhm.
pay them per page, and
Mhm.
it gets pricey. It's like maybe $200 a page.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
God
Yep.
damn, dude.
yeah.
I just
On
want
an
to say,
average,
like,
what's the sorry, Miguel? On an average, what is the length of each comic?
Right now, my average page length is about 20 pages. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so around like 4,000 a book,
Not
and
bad.
then if I do like a variant cover, then it costs a little bit more. But
Mhm.
I'm getting to a place now where like if I launch a book, I know within like a couple of months I'll make back at least half of what I put into it, and then
Okay.
with time it'll pick up and go on. So and it's nice that I sold Lucha Forever because now the burden of like the art cost goes to the publisher. So I have more time to write, and because I have that free time, I get to finish Lockjaw and the other books that I put on hold to do this one.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, just so everybody knows, how many books did you push out last year? Because like the way he says it, like, oh, it takes a month for the process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How many books did you push out, John?
22.
God damn, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
22 books.
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
No,
Outside
I
of
like writing. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was gonna ask, like, outside of the time that it takes, right, from the moment you sit down to write a story to published, right? You mentioned 3 months, but now we're talking about 22 books in a year. The question is, like, how do you get the inspiration to even start writing? Like, that's the first part of the question, and then time. Like, how did like you just talked about a 50+ hour work week?
Yeah.
How do you get the time to actually sit down and be creative enough to get that story together?
So inspiration will just be something random. I wrote a comic called Starve Rock, and it's about a group of hunters that go out into like the
What's up?
wilderness and they accidentally kill the spirit of the forest.
Mm.
So that one came from I used to shoot weddings at this place called Starve Rock up in like real far north Illinois.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it, but it was real creepy when you go up there because it's like you're just you alone with like the wilderness. And I thought, like, what happens if you fuck up so bad that there's no way to fix it? Like, you can't put Pandora back in the box. What happens? And like that one, I had a cool scene for the opening, and I didn't have much of a story, so I just wrote down the scene, the opening, and then I just kind of go about my days until I'm like, hey, that scene, like, what if that guy, it was like a group of like 6 guys, and right away I kill 4 of them. So you don't know who the main character is until the last page, and then that brings you into issue 2. So
Mm.
that was like my thought process going into it. And like those little things just kind of get stuck with me. A lot of times it'll be a scene. Like I'll just think of something cool. Like I wrote a comic called The Last Paletero on the Block.
Oh,
And it's a paletero who has a cart and it comes apart so he can fight monsters and stuff. And I just thought like, well, there's no like cool folk like heroes for like us, like American born like Mexicans and stuff, like people that were born here who grew up in like Mexican neighborhoods, because I lived in Pilsen for a long time. Like my dad has like a tortilleria there, so I'm still like there all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's not really like a person that I could see that I could identify with like outside of my neighborhood. So I was like, oh, it's the paletero. Like if I hear the little bells going, I know I'm home. So I was like, I need that for other, like I need to show that to people.
Yeah.
And that's where that story came from, because I was like, it's got to be something personal. And like growing up in Pilsen in the 90s, it was just like everything was about gangs. Like you had to be careful, all of that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
So that's what I wrote about. I just wrote about that, but like gangs, because I'm still in Pilsen, it's different now. Like it's real targeted towards like younger kids, like getting them hooked quickly. So I did that. I told that story, but I used the paletero to fight monsters and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this works.
Dude, is it something where right now, I know you said you pushed out 22 books, but right now, if you get an idea, do you write it down right away because you'll forget, or you'll be able to kind of like get that idea, start thinking about stuff and not forget, and eventually say tomorrow when you get home from work, you have an hour and you start writing stuff down? How does that work?
Yeah.
When you get something like that?
I don't forget, because usually the first scene I'll write is like a really emotional scene, because those are the hardest ones. So like that book Americana that I wrote, like I don't like writing it just on like a normal day. I have to like take 2 days to write it, because it puts me in like a bad place to write it, because you have to like be honest with the characters in order to make it good.
Yeah.
So like for that one, it's like me and just sad music and my keyboard and just like fucking going to town, like calling my dad, yelling at him, hanging up to write. Like you got to do what you got to do to get the words out. But like if I came up with a new idea today, and it was just a man that comes into his town, and all I had was a title. It was like Hombre. It was just like a guy. That was his name, was just the guy. But it's like a guy goes into a small town. It's a Western, and there's a person there that needs his help, and he crosses a line where now he's screwed and he has to stay there to help. Right? It's like that classic Western trope of like the quiet guy comes into the town and he has to do right. But it's all about like those guys always have like that unbreakable rule, like their code, right? So he has to break the code to do the thing. So when he goes to the next town, who's he going to be there? Because every town he goes to, he gets a little bit worse. He goes a little bit crazier. And I just had that idea. And now I wrote it down. I have like the first draft of it written from like this afternoon. It always starts on paper. Like I'll physically write it down first. And then like the more I think about it, the like more I get into it. And then I start to figure out like, well, who is he? Who was he? And where's he got to go?
Okay.
And once I know those 3 questions, then I can write it and then I'm good.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, take it or leave it, pero ese hombre puede ser el hombre con el bolillo asesino. Y del bolillo becomes a weapon. O les da un pedazo de bolillo and follow the good path. I'm just saying.
Pa'l susto, ¿no?
Pa'l susto.
It sucks because like all the good titles are gone. Because like I was sitting there and I like looked at my wife. I was like, no, instead of hombre, it's like sin nombre. And she's like, that movie you watched? I was like,
that's right.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. I was like, but people aren't gonna know that. And she's like, you'll know it. And I was like, yeah, it's true.
That's gonna bug you eventually.
Yeah.
Is your wife also Latina?
No, she's white.
Okay.
Like very white.
Yeah. So I'm sure she's interested.
That was the inspiration behind Americana.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, the town that it's based in is the town that I live in now, in Lamont. Because when I moved here, it was like end of high school. So like high school, I'm in the city, everything's fine. Like I'm with my people. You could speak Spanish in the hallway, people aren't picking on you. Right. I come here and my nickname became Paco. And I was like, it's Juan. Like my name is John. Juan is right there. Like it's even my dad's name. And they were like, no, like that's too generic. Paco. And it still sticks. Like people that know me from here will call me Paco.
Damn,
I'm like,
dude.
Motherfuckers.
We're gonna switch his name. No, we're gonna switch his name right now.
Hombre Paco, I'm just saying.
And then they even have like an active clan threat like meter in the town. And I'm like, where is this? Like,
Really?
we're right by like Downers Grove. Like, this isn't like
For real.
fucking. We're not in the South. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's true.
But
Dude.
this is where they go. So I'm just like, all right, well, this town's pretty fucking weird. So I got to write about it.
Maybe
And,
we
like-
shouldn't go fishing to Le Mans anymore, dude.
I wouldn't. If you guys
I
have ever
wouldn't.
been here, they got
It's,
that quarry.
yeah,
The forge.
the quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the forge.
the forge
they
took
found a
over.
body there like 2
Oh,
months
damn.
ago. Yeah, there's always some weird shit going on under the bridge there. But it's
Yeah.
a good, like, people go there to canoe, to fish, to do whatever. If
Mhm.
you read that book, I'm gonna ruin the quarry for you because like someone gets killed there right away. Because when I was in high school, they were like, "Oh, they found a body," and I was like, "Oh, that's fucked up." And I'm like sitting there taking notes, like, "Oh."
Dude, have you ever thought about writing a book in Spanish?
So we translated the Lockjaw book to Spanish.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
yeah, because mom helps me with it. So like I'll write it down, and then she's like, "You're an idiot," and then she fixes it. Because
You Google
I'm
Translate?
I'm typing it out. And I'm like, I was like, all right, it says bat, but I don't know the Spanish word for bat, so I'm gonna change it to something else. And she was like, "This is the word." I'm like, "Thank you, fixed it,
Yeah,
got it. All
yeah.
right, I can move on."
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude. Now, honestly, it's cool. Obviously, just your background itself is pretty tight. We have anybody have any other questions that has nothing to
Yeah,
do with
well,
the
I was
theater?
gonna ask about so we talked about your creative writing process.
Yeah.
How hard is it to find the right artist to match the story, or do you have a set person that you go to for everything now?
I have one guy that I go to, like if I have a new idea, like I kind of know who could draw like dark storylines, who can draw funny stuff like that. But every once in a while, people like DM me. Like I wrote a comic called Loteria,
Mm-hmm.
and for that one, that artist sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, I got a comic, or I got an like here's my art that I did," and I looked at it, and I was like, I got this idea. It's like Scream, but with like Latinos, and it's about a deck of cards that kind of predict who's gonna die next.
Shit.
And he was like, "Yeah," he was like, "I'll draw it." And I was like, "Cool." So now we're almost done with issue 2, but like that was an instance that he found me.
Issue
I
one
love
is
that
good.
cover. Yeah,
Issue 1 is good.
Damn, dude.
the issue 2's gross in like all the best ways. It's pretty fun.
Like the one I just got was the Familiar Dungeons.
Yeah, that's the new one. That one just came out, I think Monday. No, today's Monday. I got it Saturday.
Damn,
Yeah.
nigga.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! You already know, dude. I jumped on
I
that,
see the
and I
shirt.
jumped on the shirt.
Yeah.
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 Is there a ninja or
There's not, because
come on.
I told the designer to put it in there. He was like, "What goes in the Enya sign?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have a small drawing." I was like, "Shit."
Dude, but you could have done that plus whatever that code that they give
Yeah.
you.
I kept the sign. I'll find it and I'll throw it up on like Instagram so you guys could see it, because it was crazy. I saw it. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is me. I was like, but I'll never be able to find it.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, like the crazy part is, so all the stories come from John, right? And he has such a huge repertoire of different type of genres, right? Like, because I remember when John was saying that, oh, he's like, oh, I'm doing horror next. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then like you dropped, what was it, Mile High Fright?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, I'm gonna do suspense next, and I'm gonna drop Loteria. I'm gonna do Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, I'm like, damn, bro, like, how do you have time, and like, how do you not run out of ideas?
So Familiar Dungeons, I have 7 siblings. So I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay.
And then like I have one older sister, then it's me, then it's everybody else.
Mhm.
So for that one, it was just like, I'm not always there for them because like we have different dads and stuff. Like me and my sister, my older sister have the same mom, different dads, and then my dad's like a total slut. So like I got siblings everywhere from that guy.
Yeah.
So it's like I wanted to write about that. So the story is about a group of siblings that are forced to deal with their shit in like an environment that they can't escape. So it's about being in like a close proximity with people, and you have to work it out. Otherwise, you're not getting out. So I use that, and then I use my actual siblings for the characters. So like all the characters, all the bullshit, all of it, I took it and I threw it in the book. Yeah.
As real as it gets, dude. As real as it gets, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think even in the book on like the 8th page or something, I call my dad a slut. Like I put
you
it.
said that
Yeah.
flat out.
Yeah.
Say how it is, right? Say how it is.
Yeah. He knows.
So John, I know we're stuck a little bit with time, but is there anything coming up for you? Any events, anything that where people might be able to check you out? I know Romero had put up a little prompt right here in the bottom to check you out at avinacomics.com. But anything else as far as events or anything
Yeah.
that you're doing?
We're gonna be at a C2E2 at the end of April.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's gonna
Nice.
be probably the biggest volume size show we've done.
Okay.
So we're gonna have t-shirts, we're gonna have like cool, we make these like little plastic guys that are like our characters, but
Oh,
people can
shit.
put
Oh,
them on their
nice.
desk and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Mhm.
And then the coolest thing we made, I just got them in today, so we're gonna do like a whole video thing about it. We made these little swords, so like little daggers,
Mhm.
but they're 3D printed. And then you can actually put the dice in there. So like people that play Dungeons and Dragons, it has the name of the comic on it, and then it's a dice tray, so you can just keep your shit together. And then when
damn.
you're going out, it's there. So we made about like 30 of them, but those are gonna be released for the show.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna have Familiar Dungeons is our newest comic that we'll have there, but we might have Lucha Forever 2 and Llorona 2
Yeah,
if I can get that shit together.
and
See,
then
this is how you sell a convention, because he
Right.
knows I'm gonna want to get him, and he knows I'm not to go to C2E2.
C2E2, what is that? Is that kind of like a Comic Con type of thing?
So
yeah,
that was
it's
the
the one
Chicago
in
Comic Con.
Chicago.
Yeah. So remember
Yeah.
it was Chicago Comic Con, then it was like Wizard World or Wizard, and then
Wizard World,
afterwards, yeah, it got sold again, and now it's C2E2.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, okay.
And it's like Josh Brolin's gonna be there, Thanos is gonna be there.
Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of Christina Ricci. Like there's gonna just like famous people, so people go to get autographs.
Yep.
But luckily where my table is right by the bar. So
Hey.
I'm banking on it.
Ah, nice.
Smart.
You already sold
Smart man.
Romero on some tickets to it.
He wasn't
The
gonna go, but
I
I'll
mean,
be just standing there handing out Todos Toman stickers.
it's just cosplayers that are just hanging around waiting for someone to take their picture, and then
Yeah.
guys walking around with cameras waiting to take their picture.
right.
Like it's a fun circle of like
Yeah.
cat and mouse, and I'm just sitting there going like, buy a book.
Do you go out of town to any events as far as
Yeah.
out of Chicago?
I might be going to California this year.
Okay.
So there's like the Latino Pop Fest thing, and I got invited. So right now I'm just waiting to see like how much they cover versus how much I would have to cover, and then figuring that out. But yeah, and then I'm trying to do shows in like Texas next year because I have family out there. So I'm like I can do some shows.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of me just crashing on people's couches with like a bunch of bins of comics.
And again, it's called Latino Pop Fest.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is where exactly? Do you know? In Cali?
It's in Kelly. It's
Not to put you in the spot. If you don't know, no, you don't. It's okay.
yeah, I'm not sure, but I
Okay.
know like last year or the year before that, it was like sponsored by like the El Rey Network and stuff.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Yeah, so they have pretty good coverage. A lot of people go there, so I'm hoping that I have enough different stuff that like it'll attract people because I don't want it. I get pitched a lot now because like people see my name and they're like, "Oh, you make comics." Like I have a story for you. I was like, I make my comics because I can't get other people to buy it. So like whatever.
Yeah.
But that it'll just be like, oh, it's about a boy named like Juan and he has a sword and like that's all I thought of. So I'm like, all right, well, like I was like, I'm not gonna buy it off that. Like you got to give me something else, or they'll just be like, oh, what about a mariachi? I was like, I already did it. Yeah. So I was trying to get people to like think outside the box a little bit.
Any questions? Any other questions for John, guys? I know Miguel.
I guess I have to ask, out of all the stuff that you've created, published, which one is the closest one to you that you're like, this is the one that I'm most proud of? I don't know. I can't say favorite because they all have a special place, I'm sure. But which one
right
do you
now,
feel the closest with?
My favorite one right now is Familiar Dungeons because it's the one that like I finally have it in my hands, so I can't stop talking about it. But like the one that I'm most excited to have done so I can show people a full book is Americana. If I had to give people one book that was like everything about me in one book, it's that book. That book it's dark, it's bleak, it's got funny moments, but it's everything you were afraid of growing up is in that book. Like
Okay.
it's meant to like hit home, and it
Okay.
does. And there's a lot of that in it. I think it's page 8 is just a mom tucking her son, and then when you get to the last square of it, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, I gotta check it out.
Even the spin-off is pretty good too.
Oh yeah, for the spinoff, I wanted the same story but a lot faster, and that one's about a kid that has a bully problem, but he won at the end of the book.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tank, you wanted to
Nice.
ask him a question?
No, I was just gonna ask. Would there be like any crossovers between like any of your work?
So I'm working on a thing. So I got like Lucha Forever. There's a character that shows up in that and Llorona. His name is Wyatt, and it's like a 50s rockabilly, like Elvis, all that kind of stuff, but like that, like California Chicano look.
Hmm.
And basically, he's like a space cop. He's a space detective, but it's got all like this heavy religious stuff to it, where it's just kind of like, how much of yourself do you give into your faith without getting anything back? Or if you lose it, how do you find it again? So it's got that kind of a sub theme to it. But he shows up in Lucha, Llorona, and I got him in one other book that we haven't announced yet. But like he's gonna be a guy that can jump around,
Shit,
and when you
nice.
see him, you know it's gonna get dark, but it'll make you laugh, which is like my whole thing. Yeah,
He's gonna jump around in the Avina universe.
the Avinaverse. Yeah.
I guess I have a final question for you, John. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Any specific goals that you have, or anything you're trying to reach, dreams, or where's John Aviña in 5 years?
I want to work for like Marvel or DC. Like I want to take on those heroes because I think a lot of them need to be updated. Like they just need something new.
Okay.
Because a lot of it's just like, oh, the big bad's gonna be the Riddler, or we're gonna do another Green Goblin, or there's something. Like it needs fresh blood. It needs a new voice.
Okay.
And right now with Blue Beetle, every like 8 issues is a new writer, and it feels like they're just telling them like just make it Mexican, but there's none of like the actual fears. Like we know, being Latino, like we gotta, as a guy, you have to be always employed. You have to be like the man of the house. There's so much pressure on us to be the things that they want us to be that we can't really slip.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that in the writing at all. Like the writing is just like, oh, there's Blue Beetle, and his dad's making a joke about like Vicente Fernandez or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was like, those are fun because like that makes it relatable.
Right.
But like the real stuff isn't there.
Not realistic. Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
realistic. Right.
So I'm just like, we need that. We need the realistic stuff in there, at least for those characters. Like if they're only gonna give me the Latin ones, that's fine. I'm gonna kick ass with them. I'm gonna make it real. But like, give me Batman and let me show you how dark I can get. Shit like that. So yeah,
God damn.
because there's like right now he's fighting robots, and I'm just like, he doesn't need to. He's a detective.
Well,
Right.
he's fighting
Like-
robots. He's fighting King Kong and Godzilla too, and
Yeah, just
yeah, no, for real. Like they
Is
have
it really?
they have a crossover with King Kong
God
and Godzilla
damn,
too.
dude.
yeah,
I'm
it's
like-
Warner Brothers, man. Like
Yeah.
anything that they can just cross promote to make like a quick buck, that's what they're gonna do.
Why not?
They
They
don't-
say.
they crossed them over with Spawn, the Ninja Turtles,
Yeah,
King Kong, Godzilla. King Kong,
Goddamn.
like Godzilla did it with the Power Rangers too with Boom. So
yeah.
it's
My
crazy.
buddy wrote that one, the Power Rangers
really?
Godzilla. Yeah,
I
because
have that
he
one.
was telling me about
I
it.
have-
No, he was telling me about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "It sounds like a cash job." He was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
It's like-
it was. Yeah.
He's like, they laid it out for me what I could write. He's like, because you can't change it. He's like, so they'll tell you A's got to go to B, got to go to C, and end it on a happy note. And I was just like, I mean, for a check, I'll write whatever. Like, I'm not picky. Fuck. Yeah, I'll do it.
Marvel or DC, if you're listening, my boy John needs he's
There you
trying
go.
to make it better. He's trying to make it better, right?
For Marvel, you could always do Robbie Reyes, the Ghost Rider.
I had a cool pitch, and they ruined it, so I can't do it. For Araña, the Spider Girl that's on
Yeah.
rollerblades,
Mhm.
I was gonna move her from New York to Chicago because there's too many spider people. So
There's
the
way too
opening
many
shot
superheroes, yeah.
is her chasing like a bank robber, and then she webs up, and when she webs up, all of them collide, all the spider people. So then it's like a joke about like, well, there's too many of us here. I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go somewhere where I can make a difference. So she goes to Chicago. She's there, and it turns out that there's a old Spider-Man villain called Tarantula, and he was just like a guy with guns. He was like the Punisher, but he fought Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's like a rehabilitated guy that reminds me of my uncle, who was like a gangster in like the 90s, but now he's like a dad that like cooks out in shorts and like sandals on weekends.
Yeah.
But he's got a school
Like
where
Romero.
he's and he's like helping kids now. He's like reforming kids, all that stuff.
Nice.
But there's all these like Spider-Man villain artifacts, like things that have gone missing in police transport.
Oh,
So
shit.
now they're all the blame is getting put on this guy, and it's Araña's job as Spider-Girl to solve the case, clear his name, and rebuild this school of like rehabilitating the youth. I wanted to do that because the message of it is when they look for trouble, they're not looking for it where it's obviously at. They're looking for it where we are. So I wanted to do that with that because like I'm in Pilsen, I say it all the time. So like that's what I wanted from it. And like that was a pitch, but then they did an Araña series and she's in like outer space. So I'm like, fuck.
shit.
I was like, if they could bring her back, I could still do it.
Only if.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Well.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
time, dude.
John, I know that we were limited on time and we actually went over a little bit. So
It's all
we
good.
do thank you for your time. And I know you're a busy man and got other things to, like you mentioned, your schedule is busy. And in between there, you have to find time to write other 20 something plus books with a convention up ahead.
Right.
So I think for us and our listeners, I think what we can say is for sure to go and check out your website, avinacomics.com. And I think all your stuff is there, correct? Is there anything that is going to be, I think only exclusive stuff would be at C2E2, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
everything
like
will go to the website?
the dagger thing will be on the website after C2E2, but it'll be at C2E2 first. But the t-shirts, the comics, everything right now is on the website, so people could check it out.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys.
And definitely you have to be able to come back for a part 2. There's many
Yeah.
questions that
Hell yeah,
were
dude.
left unasked.
I have a lot of funeral stories. A lot of crazy
Ooh.
stuff. If you
There we
guys
go.
ever want to know what a firecracker does to a face, I got stories.
No
Oh
way,
yeah, I'll save them for next time, but I got them.
Ooh.
All right.
Excited, dude. We'll
All
be in
right,
touch.
thank
Dude. We'll be in touch. We'll schedule something for sure.
Perfect.
Thank
All
you,
right,
John.
appreciate it.
All right,
right.
see ya.
Take care.
All right, thanks, John.
Damn, dude.
Well,
I gotta-
there has a part 2
telling you.
coming up, dude.
I'm telling you, why do you think I keep him bringing him, dude? Because he's man of
Yeah.
stories. Man of stories.
He does have a definitely, yeah. I definitely have a couple questions about what he does, but I didn't want to focus so much on that because even though it's interesting to me, it really is. I'm sure it'll be interested for listeners, but I really wanted to focus on his work because obviously, I don't want to say that anybody could do. Is there a specific name for what he does? I know he said a funeral director, but is that the specific name or?
I think that might be the title.
Okay.
That's the title.
I think that's the title. But so
That's
he's a
your
funeral director, but at the same time, the crazy one is the one where people donate their body for science.
Mhm.
Would you guys donate your body for science after you pass away?
Nada más que me tapen el pilín, ¿no? Para que no.
Que me lo corte, ¿no? Para que
También no eso, güey, pero
claro, vas a sentir.
Lo van a
ya.
ver. Ya se lo cortaron.
Sí.
que me pongan una hojita o algo ahí para que no se vea. Güey.
Bien Tarzán, ¿no?
Sí, güey.
This is Adam, ¿no? Van a decir. Class, this is Adam. Adam don't, no?
I don't know.
I think that's interesting, dude. I think I would be interested in donating for whatever purpose. I know I follow this channel on TikTok. I don't remember the name, but I do follow this channel on TikTok. And then they start talking about body parts, and they have layers, right? They start opening layers of, I don't know, this is the kidney, and behind this is this, and blah blah blah. So that's interesting to me. So I think I'll be up for it. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I literally just renewed my license today, and me preguntaron, because desde cuando la saqué, like, I was an organ donor, y me preguntaron if I still wish to keep that, and pues yeah, like.
And you said no.
I said no, it's going for science, no?
Sí,
No,
Yeah, dude.
and like so obviously I think that would be a question for him, right? Where it's like, all right, if you do donate your body for science, like is it all your body? Is it certain body parts? For example, could he us like, all right, I donate my body for science, but what can my family bury or what can they have ashes of? Is it like,
Mm, that's a good question.
like
That's a
write
really
that
good
down,
question.
Roman. Write that down for the next time, dude. Write it down.
And well, I mean, can you also, right? So in, like Tank said, in the license, the driver's license, they asked you, right? Do you want to be an organ donor?
Mhm.
You said yes. Um, can you make, can you say no and then make that decision once you pass away? Can your family members make that decision once you pass away?
I don't think so. I think
No.
I
So you
think
have to
since if you
have
leave
to
a
claim it
will,
ahead of time.
yeah.
I believe if you leave it in a will, you
Uh-huh.
probably could. Probably.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
so
100%
porque
sure.
But isn't
you
the will more like physical stuff? Diríamos terrenos
Right.
and
I
stuff
mean,
like
your
that.
body's physical, dude.
Wait,
No, 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 no.
my was gonna be like Wicho Dominguez, dude. Remember what he did that video call? Do you guys remember that?
I
Oh, it
do
was like
not.
a video, but it was like to Will was era un video, and he's like, oh, le voy a dejar esto a mi mamá, esto a mi mujer, and then like people will be mad and getting up and crying like que si van a ir. He's like, he's in the video. He's like, no, 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 tú te sientas y no te vas a ningún lado. Like if he was actually watching them, as he's like, but he's already dead. It was just Mexican gold novelas, dude.
Oh, yeah. It was, dude.
Okay, so well, this is the word that I wanted to settle with Will. It's called an advance directive. And an advanced healthcare
I heard
directive
that in
lets
my life.
that's what it's called, dude. I'm
See?
sorry that I'm trying to educate myself. Um,
o sea, himself, not us, dude, eh? Just himself.
I'm reading the thing, no, porque no sé
Sí,
qué es.
güey.
An advanced healthcare directive lets your physician, family, and friends know your healthcare preferences, including the types of special treatment you want or don't want at the end of life. Your desire for diagnostic testing, surgical procedures, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or organ donation. There you go. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that actual will because I feel like a will's more properties, cars, o lo que sea que tengas. I feel like this advanced directive is more doctor or donor, and como estamos hablando de.
And the reason I say the driver's license versus like can a family member be like, yeah, he wanted to donate his body to science. Porque pues también se dice que supuestamente if you say that you're an organ donor and it comes to a critical situation, they'll just let you die because you're a
Heard of
organ
that.
donor.
So
Heard of that.
I was about to like say that. Apparently,
Mhm.
that's a misconception, dude. Porque from what ya ni me acuerdo quién fue el que me estaba diciendo.
Edúcame, Tank, edúcame.
Déjame educo yo
Ay.
primero, dude, y ya después. No, but so what I heard was that it's the opposite, porque pues obviously, como te dijera, they try to kind of like preserve your organs, y pues si te dejan morir, güey, like, o sea, like, luego, like, you know what I mean? So, from my understanding is, it's actually kind of like the opposite.
They want to keep your organs alive as much as possible. So,
Right.
mhm.
Somos ganado, ¿no?
Sí, güey. Y por eso
Como
digo,
perdido, ¿verdad? Pero
Well, I mean ganado, like cows and stuff.
sí, yo sé.
y por eso, like, I was gonna say, I don't know if you could do that as in a will, porque from my understanding is,
The
you
will
have to
doesn't
act,
pop up. Yeah.
right, you have to act fast, in order to preserve, like, the organs.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It'll be fucked up, right? If Carla pulls out of her back pocket. He said que se lo llevaba la chingada, ¿no?
This is a video when he was drunk telling me, no?
Pero dijo que el corazón era mío, ¿no? Like,
Sí,
ya lo va a tener en a jar, dude, ahí bien preserved, dude.
there's chemicals for that, dude. We
Y sí,
just heard of that, dude.
El corazón
they
de
may
mi
stink, though.
Romero, ¿no? Like,
Dude, and again, that's just crazy because I don't know. I feel like there's so many things we could talk about with him, and then now even better because he said he has a bunch of different stories. So un día de esos traemos aquí al Pedrito Cañitas, dude, para que haga preguntas, dude.
el investigador, ¿no? De paranormales, shit.
Yeah, dude. You'll be interested, dude. I'm sure.
Como he joined the live, so now he gets access once again to come back, no? Porque he
Y
joined
sí,
the live.
güey.
He
Those
joined
ex-
once.
ex
When he-
Comunecaro and shit.
When he joined the live, you're like, ya sé por qué. What was the por qué?
Oh, sí, Michelle, hasta Michelle dijo que me había interrumpido mi historia. No, güey, porque...
That was Tank. That
It was Tank,
was,
oilo.
it wasn't me.
Oilo.
It wasn't me.
Está bien.
No.
No, because I actually had called him earlier that day. I found a Weller's bottle over there in Oklahoma for a very decent price.
Wellers
And
or Fellers?
No, Weller's, dude. So
That's
Weller's
Weller's.
is a really good whiskey
Mm.
that's really expensive and hard to find. The resale's expensive.
Okay.
so I found it for a very decent price, and I'm like, I had to call. I'm like, wait, quítame la duda porque I'm like, this sounds too cheap to be true. You know, it sounds like it's Buffalo Trace that they're trying to sell me. Y no, like he confirmed it. So hasta me encargó una botella, and I'm like, fuck it, dude, te la llevo if you join us on the live. So me encargó
You
la
know what?
botella.
From now on, dude, I'm not gonna join the live unless you give me a bottle of Weller's.
Unless I go to Oklahoma and,
Yeah, dude.
and look at the liquor prices.
Apparently, like that's how it works, no? Like
Sí, güey.
los tres y somos tres, so cada quien nos vamos a poner moños, vamos a pedir ciertas cosas, dude.
Ay, no, pinche Pedrito.
Johnny Boy te va a
Por
pedir
eso.
una Buffalo Trace, a real Buffalo Trace, no?
Nah.
With a V.
Aquí sí hay, muchachos, ya les dije. Les enseñé.
No, you did not.
I did. I showed you guys the little
El
tag.
periódico, ¿no?
No.
El especial.
Un
Right.
especial que le hizo en Canva, ¿no?
Ah, so-
No, güey. Sí, se los enseñé. Ya déjenme de estar diciendo sus cosas.
Ahí tú tienes el watermark abajo.
Watermark, no mames.
He was using the free version of Canva, no?
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
Y se lo hizo en Microsoft Paint, ¿no?
You guys are fucked up, dude. That's why I didn't want to
No.
join today, pero pues aquí estoy.
I'll say this, dude. You did a fantastic job. Pareces hasta todo un Che Jorge Ramos, dude.
I can't see, dude. You gotta zoom in more on the price.
Sí. Acá estoy. Uno, zoom.
It does say Buffalo, right?
No,
Oh,
that's
now
not
sí, güey,
Buffalo,
pero-
pero
espérate,
precio,
espérate.
dude, precio.
That's you.
It's already pixelated, ¿no? It's a different bottle, ¿no?
Viste, nomás lo he found
My girl-
H&M y lo puso ahí no, arriba.
My girl
¿no?
put those two bottles there, no, nada más para ese go for it.
Sí, más enfrente.
Ahí dice, no, hot Cheetos, ¿no?
Damn, $18, imagine.
Oh, like 32 pack or something.
And that time era así, era eso, that you when you buy 4 or more, you get to obviously pues,
That's the
almost-
price that you get, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember telling you guys that they were doing it in all alcohol, including the Johnny Walker Blue.
Damn, dude.
Oh,
It's
shit.
crazy because over here, like,
Wait, so you will get a Johnny Walker Blue for $18?
No, obviously no, but you get a discount. You get the 30%.
Oh, the
que dice ahí.
30% off. Okay.
you know
So,
what?
which
You
is
know what's
pretty
funny,
good
dude?
still.
Somos cuatro, dude.
¿Y qué?
Yeah.
O sea,
pa'
you
comprar.
you get a
Sí,
discount.
aprovecha ese
si
discount,
compras
dude.
cuatro, dude.
That discount was during holiday season, like November, December.
O sea,
If you guys are down for a-
Christmas present, dude.
If you guys are down for a picnic trip, y se
Eso
las
te
tengo.
digo.
Hey,
O sea,
dude.
como pinche Johnny Boy, ¿no? O es que ese especial fue cuando todavía no les hablaba, muchachos, por eso. ¿no?
Yeah.
En vez de que sea Santi Johnny Boy or Santa Johnny Boy.
Dude, no lie. John Aviña, he should actually put that. Ahora el Romero, le dio sueño.
Y sí, ¿eh?
Te quedas así.
Me queda. Oh,
Te quedas
my
así.
bad.
He should put that Avina with the code que le
With the-
puso
with
de
the
la
code
N.
on top,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be tight.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be tight. Pero ya, muchachos, 1 hour mark. This beer is pretty fucking tasty también, muchachos. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it
es?
anymore.
¿Cuál es, dude?
The fusion beer with the segundo and green.
No, pero es que no sé, like, for the people that are listening but are not watching us.
Jimmer's Chef.
Salud.
I'm trying.
Every time you say it, it's like a different word.
Bueno, esa mera.
He's
Oh,
gonna
the
come
first
next
one, my name is-
episode as Johnny Schwansteiger.
No, güey, ¿qué fue lo que hice hace ratito, tío?
¿Cómo?
lo que dijiste hace ratito,
Como de thank you o algo así, ¿no? Thank you or
no, que ibas a hacer research y que I forgot what's the word he said, dude.
that's the
I
or
know,
he
I know.
what
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
he,
That
he
was
said,
before we started recording.
yeah, he said it with like a German accent. I was like, oílo.
Sí,
Es que apenas agarra la lata y se cree bien alemán, ¿no?
sorry, dude. Pero pues guys, danke for joining us, dude. Danke, also known as thanks, in German. Ya, de una vez, dude, ya de una vez, ya, fake it till you make it, dude. Pero yeah, one hour mark, muchachos. We do have Romero with that Triple H.
Ahorita un
I do.
Dujas, ¿no?
Du hast me. Du hast mich.
Alright.
¿no?
Du hast mich.
Wow. Historical happy hours. So for the historical happy hour, I got three um, facts about vodka just because I was drinking the Smirnoff
Smirnoff.
vodka.
Mhm.
So one of them is that while vodka is commonly associated with Russian and Poland, origins, that
Mhm.
that's where it kind of came from. There's also, let me see here, hold on, because I lost track of where I was reading.
Cálmate, Johnny
It's
boy, ¿no?
Sí. Es que no se
casi,
acuerda
casi.
what screen he was using. That's why, dude.
Mm.
There are also, so while it was, vodka was originated, like I said, Russia, Poland, around the 8th and 9th century. There's also claims to be from other regions such as Sweden and Ukraine at the very exact time.
Mira, Romero,
So,
mandando besos. Se queda
what am
así.
I freezing?
Sí, güey, te quedas ahí mandándome un besito.
Va, pero ¿me escuchan o no me escuchan?
Sí, 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 sí,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, we
Está
hear
Johnny
you.
Boy, ¿no? ¿No? Dejen de fumar.
Recibiéndolos, ¿no?
Sí.
So the exact birthplace of vodka remains uncertain.
I heard
Uh,
of that, dude.
and then second fact is that historically vodka has been used for medical purposes. In the Middle Ages, it was believed to
shit.
have disinfectant properties and was used as a remedy for various ailments. In addition, during the Russian Empire, vodka was used as an anesthetic,
Ugh.
anesthetic for minor surgeries and even as a painkiller. I mean, pues cualquier botella, right? You
Damn.
chug it y pues ya con eso se te
Sí,
olvida
sí,
el
sí.
dolor un
Sí, güey,
poquito.
pero like I'm sure that you could chug a whole bottle, you could pass out, but I feel like you would still feel it though.
Yo no
Pues
sé,
ya.
dude, pero yo vi un
Borracho.
meme de tanque, dude, que you can chug a bottle of some alcohol as you're crying to Los Temerarios to ease the pain.
Y sí, ¿eh?
¿Y será? That's a good ass.
I'm just saying, dude, like watch. Chug a bottle of de lo que ustedes quieran. Get a text message from your girl like we need to talk y se te quita lo borracho, dude.
Damn.
Mira,
¿Por qué
la
lo dirás,
experiencia
Miguel?
habla, ¿eh?
¿Por qué lo
¿Ah?
dirás? ¿Por qué lo dirás?
The internet te lo dice, dude.
Ah, el TikTok.
El TikTok.
Wow, no sé, desde el MySpace ahí estaba esa información out there, dude.
Va, muchachos, pues ya. 1 hour mark.
Espérate, me falta un last fact, dude. Dije que 3, güey, aguanta.
Ah, es que ya. It's 1 hour. That 1 hour mark, dude.
Ya, pues ya lo anunciaste 3 veces, güey. ¿Qué quieres
Pues
que
sí.
haga? I can't go back to the 59th minute.
Bueno, go ahead. Give me that fact, dude.
Vodka isn't just a beverage, it has been used as an artistic medium as well. Some artists have used, and this ties to John, that's why I wanted to put that fact in there. Some artists have used vodka as a paint thinner or as a component in creating unique artworks. For example, Russian artist Petra Watkins created a series of sculptures made entirely out of vodka bottles. Additionally, some regions vodka has been used in traditional crafts, such as creating intricate bottle designs or even as a component in making handcrafted jewelry.
Hablando de eso, one bottle I've always wanted to try, but I've always been too scared. And like, ni le he buscado. Is absent. And I know, and the reason why I say is because there's a lot of, back in the day, there was a lot of writers and painters that would drink absinthe. And apparently it's very dangerous and you could pass on drinking it too much because it does fuck with you. So, but I was like, damn, I would love to try once Pero pues que se probé, what was it?
When do you got tasting trials then?
Next week.
At the company picnic, no?
Let's make it happen.
So it could look like a suicide pact, no?
Oh, shit.
No,
God damn.
I'm just saying.
Romero
ahora
tiene
sí,
que
nada más
trabajar,
yo,
¿eh?
¿no?
Así que él no puede,
sí.
no tiene
Él no
tiempo to fucking unalive himself, ¿no? Like, llega el tiki-toki.
Tiki-toki.
Sí, güey. Gracias,
Unalive,
Taco, porque ya nos van a censurar por esas palabras de Miguel.
Sí,
I'm
¿eh?
sorry. Unalive. Like a unalive circle, no?
Damn. Anyway, I told you guys it was that one hour mark, pero me mandaron a la chingada, ¿no? Y aquí estamos ahora. Vas a get canceled, dude, pero bueno. Finish it whenever you guys want, dude. I'm just
Ya me vale madre, ¿no?
rate, review, subscribe. All links can be found at todostomanpodcast.com. Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Facebook, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Todos Toman Pod.
I like how he still waits for the Facebook group, even though he's the one that fought to get it off.
I'm the one who told you guys to take it off, dude, for real.
God damn, dude.
Va, muchachos, pues happy late Easter, porque pues obviously yeah, Easter was yesterday. Peace and love. Thank you to John. Salud. Clink, clink. Mira. Said clink.
Ahí les va el clink.
Hell yeah.
Ya que Miguel no lo encontraba otra vez.
Oh, I didn't even look for it this time. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was like, Romero has it again. You know, yeah, it's back
It's
to
back.
him, dude. It's under sad clink, dude.
That's what I said, sad.
Cuídense, muchachos. La próxima semana ahí nos vemos.
Vale, pues.